All right, hi, this is Attican, and welcome to the start of a new series here on the channel. We are going to play some Railroad Corporation 2. This is a game that just came out recently. I had intended to cover it from the very first day, but life got in the way for a bit, and I had some technical difficulties with my recording software. The life issues got straightened out pretty quickly, but the recording software lingered, and I've just now gotten it resolved. So thanks to the folks who helped me work through my issues and get that resolved so I could start making videos again. So we are going to take a look, as I said, at Railroad Corporation 2, and we're going to play the single player. Now, just some quick thoughts about when the game first came out. I was at first very disappointed because I actually thought it was going to be the complete game. I thought the October release was the complete game. It isn't. It's actually an early access release. And it has just a few campaign chapters in it. However, it is functionally fairly rich. I'm sure there's other functionality that are going to be added, but it is quite rich right now. So I would call it functionally rich, content weak right now. And that's just the current state. That's the way it is. So let's go in and play the single player. We have, and there is a multiplayer. I haven't looked at that yet. If somebody wants to play some multiplayer, let me know. I did enjoy very much playing multiplayer on Railroad Corporation, the original game. Enjoyed playing it with several of you, and it was fun. North Subjugation is the campaign we have to work with right now, and then Frozen Lakes is the sandbox. I haven't even looked at the sandbox at all. I'm not a sandbox player. I like the scenarios that give me tasks to do and give me reasons to be doing what I'm doing. So let's go into North Subjugation. So while the America's first transcontinental railroad was built and being operated intensively, the north regions of the continent remained untouched and became a great opportunity for investors. Lead a business expansion of new territories and make your new railroad corporation a story of a success. I would really, the developers are Ukrainian. I would really plead with them to hire someone who speaks English as a first language to rewrite their scripts. It would be a big improvement to the game if they did that. All right, on we go. So I'm set up as Attican Railways. I named it myself. Pick blue, as I always do. Now we have 4 characters, and there's also this. There's an extra little thing you can buy that will give you a little bit more with the characters. It's sort of an extra $10 you can pass along to the developers to support them if you choose to. I've at this point chosen not to. We have this character who does nothing to us, plus or minus, a very neutral character. I appreciate the fact that he exists. We have one guy who allows us to build. He's an industrialist, so we can build our buildings and maintain our buildings more cheaply, but commodities cost us more. He's actually a good choice for me because I don't pay for commodities, generally speaking. And then we have a railroader who would give us cheaper railroad construction costs and upkeep, which is great. Our buildings would cost a bit more, which is not as great, but that one could work for sure. And then we have this commercialist who gives us cheaper commodities costs, which is meaningless to me, the way I play, almost meaningless, and in higher prices here. So he would be one if you wanted to hamstring yourself a bit, I think. And maybe someday we will, because the game is relatively easy once you figure it out. Okay, I really, for what I play, this guy would be great. This guy would be great. Let's go neutral. Yeah, let's just go neutral. Chapter 1. In 1870, railroad construction is booming. More than 50,000 miles of tracks have been laid across the United States, with more to come. Your predecessors have made the cost of commodities movement over long distances 20 times cheaper comparing to traditional transportation means. Railroads are the answer to the needs of the national economy. Now it's good time to hop on this train. Provide Dauphin Lake region with a decent railroad service, return a debt, and get some experience to be able to take part in more challenging projects and shape the history of transportation. Do you see what I mean? If I hire somebody to clean up your scripts a little bit. They're not awful, but I mean, I know what you're saying, but they could use some help. Okay, let's continue. All right, I'm not going to read all of these. It's going to get too old and too long for me and too tiring. But basically, we're going to start out. This is the first mission is quite a bit of a tutorial, but there are so many ways to play it. I've actually played this multiple times, just playing around with it. Every time I do it a different way. So let's just see what we've got here. We're in the city of Gulfport. This is our headquarters. And Gulfport is a decent sized city, 120,000. Actually, it's quite big for 1870. So, we'll pause this. So here's a list of the things that Gulfport demands right now, which is quite extensive, and they supply passengers and mail, and they demand passengers and mail along with other goods. Now, it's a great start because we have a grain field right here, right now, okay? And we have some industry land and social land. Social land is an interesting concept they've added to Railroad Corporation 2. I'll show you that in a bit. But for now, our big thing, of course, is building an economic engine. Now, for me, this game, I think one thing you need to take away is definitely a train game, definitely uses trains, but it's more of a business game. It's more of an industry, supply and demand industry kind of a thing. And I will tell you that my first word of advice is, if you can avoid using a train, avoid it. In other words, I've got grain right here. I've got a customer that wants flour. I could put a flour mill right here and make a lot of money on that flour. I could make $38,000 per unit on the flour versus grain. Let me find somebody who wants grain, like Nevada over here. Versus $10,000, I can make $10,000 per unit on grain. So you get the prices as you look at the demand here. And over here, I can make, what was it? $38,000, a lot more. So I think that's what we're going to do. First thing we're going to do is say, okay, why don't I buy this industry land right here? And why don't I put a flour mill in it? Like this. And then why don't I say, okay, well, Mr. Flour Mill, you need to consume grain, so buy it in town. In fact, I'm going to buy the grain field. Now I own the supply chain, okay? So I'm going to say, okay, I want to buy, although it's really just move. I'm going to set up a rule that says that if I have less than, now I can check my storage, their storage, namely our supplier, I'm trying to say, or both. So I could say, for example, if I have less than 5, move grain over here from the grain field. Or I can say, if they have more than 5 available, move it over. Or I could say, look at mine and say, if I have less than some number and they have more than some number, and all these are useful, and we'll probably use them all here maybe before this is over. I think what I want to do for this is I want to check my storage, and if I have less than 6, I'm going to say I want it moved over from the grain field. Now the reason I said 6 is because the flour takes, you can see down there the price, and then you can see the production. 3 grain turns into 2 flour. So I have to have 3 in order to start a production cycle to make 1 flour. So I want it in units of 3. So I'm going to take 6. I'm going to say I always want 6 here. And I want to leave the rest in the grain field if it's there to do other things, if it's available or appropriate to take other places or to use for other things. So we're going to say, okay, grain, give me flour. Or, give me grain, send grain to the flour mill, or thinking it the other way, flour mill, go buy or move grain over here. Now we want to sell this stuff. So our flour mill supply, we can say sell in the town. And we're going to set up a rule that says, if I have any, right? Sell to the city if I have more than 0 in stock. So if I have any at all, you want to sell it and make that nice money over there. And that's what we're going to do to start the game. Not exactly what they had in mind when they wrote the tutorial, but we're going to make money. We're going to make money at a good clip. So now it's just kind of hurry up and wait for a moment. One comment I would say to the developers is the very fast speed is not very fast. It's actually quite slow. You could stand to, if it's possible, you could stand to speed that up. So now you can see we're starting to sell flour to the city at 38,000 a clip. And we can stop here. Let's go ahead and follow what they want us to do. Build a railroad station. Okay. So now we've got these buttons up here we can click on to control things. So this first one here is a list of stations, and there's a build new. So we can build a new station. Now, the way it works is it has to be connected to a city. You can't just build one out in the middle of nowhere. But in your city, if it's connected at all, see how it kind of lightens up as it connects. Once it's connected to everything in that city, in that blue dotted outline there. So we're going to just put it right here on the edge. We're going to open it up so that the additional tracks open up away from the city. And there we go. There's our first station. Now, for me, my standard stations are a repair shop and an additional track. So you want 2 track, and I'll explain the 2 track in a moment when we talk about how the trains move around in the game. So we build our station. Now they want a second train station in another city that demands grain. Now, this mini map over here is very useful. See this filter? We can do search. We can say, okay, well, let's look for grain. And all the places that are green supply grain. They also demand grain, right? See that green and the red? And then all the places that have the red are customers for the grain. So we've got our grain field here, and we could ship grain to other places. Like, for example, up here is the city of Novato that we looked at a minute ago. And you can see that they would like to have grain. They would pay us 10,000 a pop for grain. So let's go back here. Well, let's go to Novato, and let's put a station in Novato. And again, we're going to say, okay, let's open it up so that it opens up away from the city and place it so it turns white, if you will. Now, we don't have enough money to build that yet. It costs $120,000, so let's just pause this. The good news is we do have Moneymaker here with our flour mill. There just made us a whole bunch of money. So we can look at that and say, okay, the way it's working right now, it's running on a cycle of, it doesn't really say, production in 60 seconds. So it can take 3 grain every 60 seconds and make 2 flour. Those flours sell for 38,000 a pop, so we can make 72,000 a minute, basically. Is that right? Yeah, 72,000 a minute from our flour mill. And our grain can produce every 14 seconds. We need 3 every minute, so we need them every 20 seconds. So right now our grain field is big enough to keep this guy running all the time. That's what we want. And we could even pump it up as we have more customers. All right, so we got a little more money. Let's go build our train station. A lot of talking here because I'm going through a lot of the basic concepts. I don't intend to cover them 28 times. And this is kind of irritating. They give you more money. You know, they keep giving you money every time you run low. Remember, it is a tutorial, this first one especially. All right, so we're going to set up our standard station. We're going to have it add a track. We're going to give it a repair shop, and we're going to run our track. Now, if those of you who've played Railroad Corporation 2 track laying is way, way better. It's not awesome, but it is quite good, particularly compared to Railroad Corporation. It's way better. Way less clumsy. Look at that. I just dragged it out there. I haven't found any advantage to doing the Railroad Corporation thing where you go click, 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 and try to make really tiny little things to cut down on your soil excavation, because you don't get a ton doing it like this. And there we go. All right, so there's a track. Now here we're going to talk about how different this is from Well, from most games, the way this actually, the station itself is like, if any of you play. Now, I actually haven't played this, but I've seen it, and of course, I've played Railroad Tycoon games. I never did play Sid Meier's Railroad. I think I tried it once on a demo or something and just couldn't do it. But if you notice there, first of all, go back to the track laying. I came out of a second platform. I did not try to do a point-to-point connection or anything like that, where these were tied off. I just simply have one track that goes to one platform, another track coming out of a second platform, and it runs all the way down and goes into a second platform here. So I'm going to confirm that. That's our track. Now, notice there's two talking to two. The reason being that because this is like a Sid Meier's type of station, the trains just go into this black box. When they go into the station, they just disappear. We see a little list of them down here below the station will tell us what trains we have in the station. But what's going on with them, we don't know. We might know they're being repaired or refueled or whatever, but you don't actually see anything. There's no animations. And what happens is that a train will leave this and want to go somewhere, and it'll just take whatever track is connected that will go to that place. So what we're going to do is set up one-way signals. Now, when I first started playing this, the two-way didn't even work. Maybe they work now, I don't know, but I use the one-way for everything. And Mr. Developer, another plea, if you want to sell this to more people, you will build a functionality that I can hit some combination of keys and set signals all along this track. Making me do every single one of them is not going to win you any friends or influence any people. You really, really want to change this. This is the thing that I hate the most about this game in its current state, is that I have to go down through here. And Transport Fever, as I recall, does the same thing. I haven't played it in ages, but I think they make you do the same thing. I hate it in that game too. I think they did later on add something like Transport Fever 2 where you could automate that, hit a button and make it do the whole thing. But please fix this. Please add this functionality. It's not a fix. It's not broken. There, I got one going the wrong way. I've got my one way here. I'm going to go change it. I'm going to flip it. And basically what's happening is when you set one, see how the red is going kind of to our right, and then if I just move my cursor slightly and change what I'm doing, it's changing which side the semaphore is on, the signal is on. If I put it on the right, it means go that way. If I put it to the left, it means you can't come into a left, right? You go with the right. So we're driving on the right. So I'm just going to go ahead and set the rest of these. So that to me is 5 minutes of my life I'll never have back. And I'm sure you could all say the same thing. But I really do. You gotta automate that. Got to. If you want to sell this to more people, you've got to do that one simple change. All right, so we built a second train station. We've connected it. Now we need a train depot. Now I love how Railroad Corporation forced you to bring all your trains out of one place. Now they have a nice new version of it here where they all come out of one place unless you decide to add a second place at a great cost to allow you to, as you've expanded your lines to have a depot to give you new engines from another place. But what we want to do is go to our original here, and it's cheaper in your headquarters than other places. So we're going to add a new facility and add a train depot. Okay, so we've checked that one off, and again, they've given us more money. All right, so now they're saying run your first train. So we're going to buy a locomotive, and we have the Memnon available to us. We're going to buy a Memnon, and now it's saying start making money by transporting and selling grain to other cities. Okay, fine. So what we're going to do is first go to settings, because we have this text hint, and I like to be organized and know what my trains are doing. This is nice. It's a pain, bit of a pain, but once you get used to it, it's not horrible. I've kind of have my own code here. I'm going to do Gulfport grain to Novato, okay? And I want my maintenance condition to be 100%. So every time that a train rolls into a station that has a repair shop, it will automatically be taken up. If it's anything below 100%, which it always will be, it's going to be repaired. I like them repaired all the time because it's faster repairs that each time. All right, so, and then you can choose whatever you like. It's up to you. All right, so we're going to go, we've got this Gulfport grain to Novato. So we're going to go add Gulfport as a station. We're going to go here, and now all the green are things that are supplied by the city. All the red are things that it demands. So we are going to go to the grain field, and I'm going to hold down Control and Alt at the same time I hit the left click. This is you need to know, you need to get in the habit of doing this. Don't just click this grain field. I mean, you could do this. I'm going to take the Control Alt off. I'm going to click it. Notice it says 24 out of 110. That's the total mass we could carry. So we could just click this up to take one off to the point we wanted. The fact that it has the hourglass in it means it's going to wait until it has that one loaded. It will not take off if that hasn't been fulfilled, and in this case it would load 4. Now what we're going to do, a shortcut way to do this, and it's very important you do this because your trains will be updated later and it'll automatically adjust for you. We're going to say Control Alt and left click. And what that does is it puts this little do this until you're full kind of thing, right? It's sort of saying just load. This is sort of saying load until you've got a full load. And this is saying corn, or grain rather, until it's full. So every one that you would load, it has to actually be there. You can't run with a partial load. So that's what we're telling it, and we're going to go to Novato, and we're going to go up there, and then we're going to say we're going to do Control Alt and left click here, and that says, okay, everything you brought here, unload it at City Hall, sell it to the City Hall for $10,000, and we're going to save that. And now we've got this train. See, it says Gulfport grain to Novato because that's what we put in our notes. It's nice that they display it like that. And then we're going to copy it and run a couple of those. So we do a quick copy once we had it all set up, and there we go. Now we got 2 trains running, and they will load grain from our grain field and take it over to Novato. And we want to sell 20 carriages of this stuff. So let's look at, we're still looking at this. We've got Novato here. We've got a city nearby, this Temecula, that would take grain, and they would take grain for whiskey as well. But we'd have to cross a bridge. We'd have to make a bridge to get over there. However, over this way, we've got this little town of Allentown, and we wouldn't need any bridges, so let's go there next. They would like to have grain as well. So we can build a new station. Now here, we're probably going to end up going up this way next from Allentown, or possibly down this way. So let's do this. Let's put their station. By the way, you can only have one station in a city, period. That's it. One station. That's all. So let's put it on the side here, again, pointed out so it can grow out away from the city like this. We'll do our standard repair shop, add a track, and we're going to bend it a little bit so we don't get any bridges. There's no reason to build bridges here unnecessarily. And that looks pretty good. Confirm. See how quick that was. That's nice. And now to double track, what I'm doing is I'm running along. This is a little clumsy. It takes some time for you to get used to this in your fingers. But if you hold Alt down, it will kind of lock the track in a double track way, right? So what you have to do is kind of walk your way. It's not as nice as Railway Empire, I have to say. The Railway Empire just automatically does this for you. here. What we have to do is tell it, and you have to kind of watch for every time it kind of curves so that you make sure you get it right. But like that. There we go. Now we've double tracked that in there, and they've given us more money. I don't know how. I think there is a point where they can stop doing that, but I wish they wouldn't do it at all. All right, so there I goofed again. I can reverse that and make sure my arrows are pointing the direction I want the trains to run. The green, I want green going the way I want the trains to run. Drive on the right. Anybody watching this who doesn't play train games at all or not familiar with trains, I'm setting up signals which are defining blocks, which basically at its simplest just says that only one train can be in one block at one time. So by putting multiple of these down through there, I'm creating the opportunity for many trains to run on this line at the same time. Now early going, we're not running very many trains, but we will eventually. So let's start taking some grain to Allentown. So let's go into our settings again, and let's go Gulfport, grain, Allentown. And by the way, if you use the text hint, be careful. Make sure after you type that in that you click that. If you don't, you lose it. Even if you save the route, it doesn't matter. You'll lose that text. This you don't have to commit to. You just have to say it. The always maintenance or however you want to choose to do yours. Gulfport, I'm going to do grain, and I'm going to do add. Notice they take passengers too, so make note of that. Take advantage of that as well. Okay, let's do that. We got now. There's a train. Let's do a couple of them. Now, passengers and mail have been nerfed incredibly. They don't pay as well. They don't mean as much. This is an industry game. This is a freight hauling game. And it's really a freight in your city game. And then on top of that, you want to, when you haul, you want to haul big ticket items. So we're hauling grain right now. It's not a great item, but later we'll haul flour. We'll haul, something else that we're creating that makes us much, much more money if we haul them at all, if we don't just sell them in the city where they're created. All right, so there we go. We got a couple trains doing that. Now I said there was some passenger business to be had, so let's go ahead and take advantage of that. And let's go buy a new train, and let's set up a line that is Gulfport passenger to Allentown. And when I write them like that, I'm just assuming that they're coming back with passengers as well. So Gulfport, we're gonna run full, empty them all over here. Run full, empty them all, go. That'll give us a line making some money on passengers. So now we've got some passenger traffic going to Allentown. We've got our grain running to 2 different cities, and we can continue to expand or do whatever we want. Now, unfortunately, we don't actually have, the only thing we have is a research department right now. They haven't introduced, they're going to introduce us to other concepts as we go along. And some of them are actually quite powerful. It's kind of amazing. All right, so yeah, our grain field's actually holding us up right now. So let's just go ahead and upgrade it if we have the money. We do. They keep giving us money. We'll upgrade this grain so it's supplying faster. So now it's creating 1 grain every 7 seconds. Our flour mill needs 3 every 30, so 1 every 20 seconds. 1 every 20, and the 7 we're also supplying. We can do all the math and figure out what this really should be set at, but it's not worth it to me at this point. We'll just make it run faster. Make it go faster. And we could go ahead and expand. There's another little cute thing we could do, is we could look at, for example, coal. All right, we could find a place like coal, like right here. If you notice, Shawnee has a coal mine and it wants coal. Well, if we were to buy that mine right there, and we were to say, why don't you sell this in town and sell it anytime you have any stock at all. If you have any, sell it. Now, we bought it. It cost us a bunch, but look at how quickly we can recoup most of that money. And now we've got a coal mine that we can use in the future, and we're starting to grow another city. We're not even there yet. And we could do that. We could do that down here if we wanted to in Council Bluffs. They want coal and they have a coal mine, but they're too far away. We'll probably never get to them. I know we won't because I've done this before, as I said. And then we could look at wood and see who's producing wood and selling it. Now, I think if we think of this as a natural progression, we're going to probably end up right out here in Erie as well. All right, so I had a system crash. I played ahead a bit and had a system crash. Did I mention this is early access? That hasn't happened too much to me, but it definitely happened when I was trying to run some track down this way, a big long piece of track. And so I've had to kind of go back to the last save, and that was when I was just talking about Erie and the logging business here. Do we want to buy it, sell the logs to Erie, and be ready for that? And I think what we'll do is actually work our way up there and then buy it. There's no rush. So let's work our way up to Shawnee because there's coal. If we look at the coal, we know we own the coal mine here in Shawnee, and all of these three cities that we're connected to want the coal. Well, that's not true. Allentown doesn't yet. It won't be long for them. They will want the coal. But definitely Gulfport and Nevada would like to have coal. We'd like to run it to them, make more money on it, and help them grow. Not that it's a big deal to grow them, but it's a good thing. So let's go up here. Let's get our station. I see us kind of coming up from Allentown, Shawnee, and over to Erie. So let's put a station kind of on the side here, like this. And we can add our track and put in our repair shop, and then we can run it for a bit and get some money. We need to go broke again. Now this is interesting. This is all the way back. I gotta speed this up again because I did reload. This is all the way back when when I crashed. This was almost done. So you can see I did play. This is a repeat for me, if you will, but that's okay. Now let's go up here. Let's set our track to go up, and like this. Check for bridges, don't see any. That looks pretty good. Confirm that. And we'll double track it. We'll hit Alt occasionally and kind of lock it in. And a whole bunch of money just showed. Oh, I think did they give us more money? Oh, sorry, I missed the message. All right, I'm busy doing this. Okay, let's stop here. So this says, okay, yeah, I remember this is the same thing I saw last time. This is not right. It says that we help launch production by delivering grain in a flour mill or Novato. Now, we did deliver grain to Novato, but I would think you would have to deliver to the flour mill. And the reason I'm making a point of that is it's a totally different deal. Like right here is a train going Gulfport grain to Novato, right? If we look at it loads in Gulfport, but if we look at the Novato end, it's emptying in City Hall, so it's selling to the city, to the consumers in the city. But we would have to set up delivery to the flour mill for that flour mill to actually do anything, right? So I think they should fix that. I think this launch production should only be considered done when you actually deliver grain to the flour mill, not to Novato. Anyway. They gave us credit for it. Good for us. Now suddenly we're at 16. Okay, yeah. We had trains going to two different cities, so that we've boosted our sales of grain quite a bit, rather quickly. And now they want us to sell flour. You notice we've already sold some. That's because we are set up to sell it in our own city, right? And we should be selling it. I can't remember. Are we selling flour in Allentown because they want it? It doesn't look like it. Okay. Now, one of the things to watch when you set up these kind of sell it in your own city is we're going to want to watch how full are you getting here, because we can sell this up to 30, but after that, we're going to want more customers. So let's set up another customer, and let's look at our flour on our mini map. Very handy. We have a consumer here, and that is Allentown. So we're going to set up a line that runs our flour over to Allentown. So we will do Gulfport, flour, Allentown, and we'll make it 100%. And our route will be Gulfport, pick up flour at the flour mill, see that? And then go to Allentown and sell it to the city. Okay. And what's their business? What do they have? They have a paper mill. Okay. So now let's look at our flour mill to see how we're set up to sell. What we've got now is a sell in town, which says anytime we have any. So if we have more than 0, sell it. Well, now we're going to change that. We're going to make that, let's just do this and set up a different rule. Let's say, let's check our storage, and if we have more than 5 in stock, let's sell it to our city. And that way we'll have some available at this, to be picked up by our trains to deliver to other cities. In this first case, Allentown, we're going to want to send it to other cities as well. Okay? So that will help us get that flour task done. We're almost done with the carriages. Now, we want to go take advantage of this coal we have up here. So let's set up a train. Let's grab a Memnon. And let's set up a train that's going to go, let's say, Shawnee coal to Gulfport. And go here, we'll pick up coal, we'll bring it to Gulfport, we'll drop it off. Now we can contemplate dragging something else back somewhere. We could do this and make it optional. See if we take this right here and take away the hourglass. Now it'll just, if they're there, they'll grab it. So we could go there, then we could add Allentown to the mix on the way back and say drop off any flour you might have picked up, and then go to Shawnee and do it again. That would be one thing to do, or we could just run it back and forth. It doesn't matter. Now let's go. We may as well do Novato as well. Now we could contemplate track, cutting across, shortening the trip. I am finding, as a rule, I like having all the track really using the stations as the junctions. I didn't do that all the time in Railroad Corporation, but I'm finding I like it better in general. I definitely like having the 2 tracks rather than the point-to-point kind of connections. And I definitely like running it everywhere, through cities. All right, so let's go, rather than having junctions out there. So let's do buy this now. And let's sell it in town. And the first thing I'm just going to say, if you got any, sell it. We'll do that for now. And we'll change the rule if we, as we get out there and want to use, see, we can run this, the wood to Shawnee, for example. Oh, I just realized what we could do that would have been better. I think that the train we did that was, where's the one we did that was the coal to, I thought we did a train. Didn't we do a train that was coal to, oh, it's this one. Okay, this would have been better had we done this. You go to, and actually we should have started here, but here's what we'll do. We'll take that off. And we're going to take that off. So we click on that. We're going to say, grab grain, because Shawnee wants grain, right? So now it's an efficient train, right? Because now it's taking coal one way and grain back the other way, and we'll call it the Shawnee coal Gulfport train. By the way, do you have to use these, go through all this trouble of typing all this out on all your trains? No, you don't. you don't. But I do find it's worth the effort, because now I can figure out when I want to see, okay, I need to add another train to the so-and-so line. I just need to find one that says that word and just copy it. It's just super, super easy. Okay, so, all right. I didn't realize it was still back here. I could have started it here and taken grain out there. That would have been a smart thing to do, but that's okay. All right, we did our grain sales. We're trying to sell the flour, which you'll notice has died out a little bit. Now, why is that? That's because this train right here is loading up our flour. And until it has a full load, it's not going to go. And this guy isn't going to be able to sell any until it gets that out of the way and then builds up a surplus here. Right? Okay. So, we're making money all over the place. I think we're making money up here too. Yeah, we're getting an income from this logging. So let's go up here and connect Erie to our network. Give us some wood in our system. We'll do our usual repair shop and upgrade to an additional track, and then we'll run our track through this pass and into Shawnee. We're going to make a tunnel right there, and that's all good. And then we're going to go lock it in a couple, three places so we have parallel track, and wait till we have some money. Let's confirm that, and then set our signals, which I didn't do on this line either. Which side are you running on? He's running on the right. Good. Okay. Oof, that one. And then we want to do the same. We want signals up here too. While I'm at it. Okay, now we can make a nice efficient line here. We've got coal and wood connected on a short track, and each end needs the other items. So we can go I one here. This is going to be Shawnee coal to Erie wood. Coal, drop off wood. Erie, drop off coal, gather up wood, go. Okay, that'll be a nice line. All right, we're up to 232 on selling our flour. We've got plenty of, we're not getting it too fast there. Because that train takes a while, it's allowing us to build up stock here and sell a little bit more here in Gulfport. And the fastest way to do that task would have just been keep selling in Gulfport till it was full and then go. right, now wood. Who needs wood on our system? Allentown does. Gulfport does not. Interestingly enough, Novato does. So we could run trains. We could run a Memnon. We could say Erie Wood to Allentown. Okay, and we could run a couple of those. It's a reasonably long route. Now, one thing missing from the game very clearly, now it's telling us we have to sell bread all over the place. That's kind of the big task for this mission. But one of the things that you do not have, it's a bit frustrating for those of you who are train aficionados, it is for me, there's no frequency of the routes. So we don't know how long it takes a route to run. Like Erie to Allentown, I don't know how long that takes. You just have to eyeball it to see if you've got enough trains running, and I'm just playing it by feel now after having a few hours into the game. That was true in Railroad Corporation as well. You didn't have that data. That's data they could consider adding if they want to really improve this as a train game, is route frequency. Like if I set up a line from hauling wood from Erie to Allentown, how long does it take me, generally speaking, to make one full trip, one tour? And if I know that data, that allows me to know how many trains I need to run. If I know how many trains I need to run and how often, how fast Allentown uses it up, and who are all my consumers of wood, I can figure out how much do I want to upgrade my logging to produce more and more wood. I don't know any of that stuff. I'm just guessing it now. Well, I know some of the production stuff, but the actual frequency of the routes just don't have a clue. All right, why don't we stop right there? Our next big task will be we got to finish this off, which we're almost done, and then we've got to move into the bread industry. And you can guess that's going to be an easy. Here, I'll just do it for you. Here is the obvious place to build bread, or to make our bread, would be to purchase this land here in Gulfport, and go down here and look at a bread factory for $1,025,000. Save up some money, make up a bread factory, start putting our flour over here to the bread. And when we do that, we'll start, I think next episode, we'll look at kind of the ratios and the frequencies and how much do we want to upgrade our flour to match all the stuff we've got going on? Do we want to, all that kind of stuff? And we can figure that out. They've given us another task to give some money to the state, I guess. But anyway, we'll deal with all that next episode. So we'll think about building a bread factory, and we'll start shipping bread to various cities, and including ourselves. That'll be an easy one. And again, we'll do that in the next episode. I hope you're enjoying this. Hit the like button. Put in the comments if you want to see more of this, if you want to see some fundamentals of Railroad Corporation 2. Just let me know what you think of the game, what's your initial impressions of it, and I look forward to hearing your feedback, and we'll talk about it next time. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it'll help you become a better player. I hope you'll like, comment, share, and subscribe, and join us for our next Railroad Corporation 2 video. Thank you.